So give me an A to Z. Somebody comes in, let's say a married couple, let's do a married couple comes in, they're under a lot of credit card debt. Give me their A to Z of what happens during the pendency of their case. And just typical, I know there's exceptions and everything, but just sort of this is how we're going to attack this.
I will walk you through a 7 and then I'll walk you through a 13 because
Perfect.
they're different processes.
Great.
When my clients come in for a consultation, one of the pieces of paper that they leave with at the end of that consultation is a timeline. And it outlines everything that's going to happen in a typical bankruptcy case. So usually there's about a month of preparation.
Okay.
Somebody comes to see me a month, 2 months, 6 months later, however long it is, we get their case filed. So I have a list of documents that I need in order to prepare the case. So over that month or two, the client comes back and presents all of those documents to me. I prepare the case. We set an appointment for them to come in and sign all of their paperwork. They get to review it in detail prior to signing so that we can correct any errors, any miscommunications. Once they've signed the paperwork, we pick their filing day. Once the case is filed, all debtors are protected by what's called the automatic stay. It puts a hold on any proceedings against you. You can't get sent collection letters. They can't call you on the phone. They can't repossess your car. They can't get a judgment against you in court. They can't garnish your wages. They can't do any of those things because that's what's protected by the automatic stay.
Okay.
Once the stay is in effect, 30 days later, the debtor has to make one court appearance. It is a 341 meeting of creditors. It is held in a meeting room at the federal courthouse. It is probably the most uneventful court experience of anyone's lifetime. They ask a variety of questions that are very standard. They're required by law. What's your name? What's your address? Are these the tax returns you filed?
Okay.
Things like that. And it's sort of a cattle call.
Sure.
There's 50 people in the room. Everybody's doing the same thing. Everybody's asked these questions. There may be a few questions that are specific to your case. If you paid mom and dad a preference payment, they're probably going to ask about that. If you are involved in a lawsuit, they're probably going to ask about that. Just a variety of things. It will go very quickly. At the end of the hearing, I walk outside with my clients, and I have yet to have a client say anything other than, that was it.
Yeah.
So, but that's kind of what you want.
Sure.
There may be additional documents that they request at that hearing. You usually have 10 days from the date of the hearing to get those back to the trustee. He or she reviews them. Usually it resolves whatever questions they had. And then after the 341 meeting, 60 days later in Chapter 7, you get your discharge.
Wow.
There are 2 rounds of credit counseling you're required to complete in a Chapter 7 case. One before you file. Okay. You get a certificate. You file the certificate when you file the case.
Okay.
But the second round you have to complete after the case is filed. It takes about 2 hours. Most of my clients do it online.
Yep.
On the internet at night or on the weekend, whenever they want. And again, you get a certificate. You file that with the case. And you have to complete that credit counseling requirement before the discharge date, or you don't get your discharge.
Okay.
So once the discharge is entered, the case usually closes sometimes it'll close instantaneously. Sometimes it takes a week to close. Sometimes there's a report that the trustee has to file because they're administering an asset, things like that.
And then their debt is gone.
That's it.
Okay. Yeah.
Second chance city.
Yes.
Wipe the slate clean, get your fresh start.
Right.
Don't hide from your creditors. A lot of those people haven't opened their mail in months because it's just bills and bills and bills and bills and bills, and they don't have any money to pay them.
Yeah.
And so they stop opening the mail. Think of how freeing it is that they get to walk to their mailbox and they don't have to worry about receiving a stack of bills this tall that they can't pay.
I love it.
It's great.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do Chapter 13.
Okay. Chapter 13 is similar in the pre-stages.
Okay.
Again, there's a list of documents I'm going to need to prepare your case. You come in, you sign the paperwork, we pick your filing day. Once the case is filed, the automatic stay is in effect. 30 days later, you go to a 341 meeting of creditors. After the 341 meeting, usually it takes anywhere between 2 and 6 months to get a plan confirmed by the court. It is not unusual to have to file more than one plan. It is not unusual to have to amend your plan after the case is filed. So in a Chapter 13 case, in addition to all of the Chapter 7 paperwork you file, you also file what's called a Chapter 13 plan. The plan is reviewed by the trustee. The plan is reviewed by all of your creditors. They are allowed to make objections. You make adjustments. You amend your plan. So when I explain what's going to happen to my clients, what I usually say is Chapter 13 plans are kind of like that math problem you hated in the 8th grade. Train A leaves North Carolina going 40 miles an hour. Train B leaves Sacramento going 80 miles an hour. The initial plan is really just trying to determine what state everybody's going to meet in.
Okay.
Everybody objects, you amend, then you find out what county you're going to meet in.
Okay.
And once you've narrowed it down to a certain point, the court will confirm your plan.
Okay.
You have to make everybody happy in order to get the plan confirmed.
Okay.
Once the plan is confirmed, there is a bar date that is assessed in every Chapter 13 case. And what the bar date is, it is a date after your case is filed. I believe it is 90 days after your 341 meeting.
Okay.
So about 4 months after your case is filed, the bar date will pass. And if your creditors have not filed a claim in your case, they don't get paid.
Okay.
There are certain exceptions, taxes, a mortgage that's current, a car loan, things like secured debt.
Okay.
There's a lot of wiggle room for those people because the lien doesn't necessarily go away just because you don't file a claim.
Right.
Things like that. But
Okay.
unsecured creditors, at the end of the day, if you have not filed your claim, you haven't filed it timely, sorry, you're not getting paid.
Yep.
Historically, about 40% of creditors file a claim in a case.
Okay.
So somebody who comes in who has 500 creditors and might owe a lot of money, in all likelihood, the number of claims that are going to come in is going to be pretty low. Now,
Okay.
somebody who owes 3 people $100,000, I mean, you can kind of bet those claims are probably all going to come in. So they may
Right.
not meet that 40% standard, but a good average would be about half your claims are going to come in.
Okay. All right.
When the Chapter 13 case gets completed, so you're a good girl, you make all your payments in your Chapter 13 plan for 3 to 5 years, you've done everything the court has asked you to do, you get your discharge, just like you would in a Chapter 7 case.
Okay.
All the other debt goes away.
Okay.
The court is aware that over a 5-year period, things change, things happen, people lose jobs. People get better jobs. People get promoted. People die. And sometimes people get inheritances.
Right.
I've had 3 clients who won the lottery while their Chapter 13 case is pending. I mean,
Hey.
I've never won the lottery.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
had 3 clients who won the lottery. I mean, it's kind of crazy. But things happen. Things change. If anything changes in your financial situation while a Chapter 13 case is pending, you always need to let your lawyer know. There are plenty of adjustments that can happen. Again, it's that math problem. Where are the trains going to meet?
Right.
And if this train speeds up or slows down, that's going to affect where those trains meet. So there are certain amendments and certain adjustments you need
Sure.
to make in your case in order to have it be successful.
So are you saying if they won the lottery or got an inheritance, that it would up their monthly payment or up their responsibility from the
That's a good
plan?
question. So that depends.
Okay.
The famous law school answer.
Yeah.
It depends on what month they're in.
Okay.
If you are not, if you are past the 36-month mark, you can buy out of your plan according to the terms of the confirmed plan.
Okay.
If you're not past the 36-month mark, you got to pay everybody.
All right.
But you got to pay everybody who claimed their money.
Right.
Sometimes they don't all claim their money.
Yeah.
The other thing you got to look out for is, you're not really supposed to be gambling in a Chapter 13 plan.
Yes.
And so there is the risk that the U.S. Trustee's office could come in and say, these people just won $1 million in the lottery, and that's not fair, and that's
Yeah.
abusing the bankruptcy system if they don't pay everybody.
Okay.
So there
Is the
are
lottery considered gambling?
Ooh. I would assume so.
All right.
I mean,
Yeah. I guess it is.
Well, and a lot of people get really nervous when I ask them for bank statements after they filed, because all of a sudden they're going, "Oh, did I do something wrong? I bought some flowers at the farmer's market. Was that wrong? What did I do?" What you're really looking for with those statements is, did you write a big check to your brother?
Right.
Is Harrah's Casino showing up all over your bank statement? Because that's a problem.
Right.
Really, really significant abuses. You can't go down to Sunset Spas and buy a $8,000 hot tub and on credit, and then turn around and file bankruptcy the next week. You can't do those things. It's fraud.
Okay.
So those are sort of the things that you're looking for with bank statements.
Okay.
The people who are coming in who are really concerned about what's going to show up on their bank statements are usually not the people you're really worried about abusing the system.
Right.
It's the people who usually they weren't thinking. They had every good intention in mind, but you can't go pay for your daughter's wedding and file bankruptcy 2 months later.
Right.
I mean, you just can't do those kinds of things.
Okay.
It's usually people who are very well-intentioned, who weren't thinking about how this would affect their financial situation, that end up getting in trouble.
Sure.